And I do encourage, this is a magic act, so if you cannot see from where you're at, feel free to come up for the next 10-15 minutes, because this is going to be really good. One of my favorite magicians, no, you are my favorite magician in town. Don't tell anybody else, but between all of us, my favorite magician in town. Put your hands together for Gilligan!
For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Gilligan, local magician here in Cleveland. Excited to be here at the Cleveland Urban Winery. For those of you who have never been here before, partake, because all this stuff that they make here is awesome. For those of you who do know who I am, well, I'm still Gilligan, local magician, and pleasure to be here. So, because we're in a winery, I decided to do magic from a liquid type of sort. So I was inspired. Now, I didn't know, I knew it was a winery, so I didn't know what other kind of beverages that they offered here. So in case there was anybody that likes beer, I was told that these guys don't actually sell any beer here. But what I found that at other venues is they get kind of upset if you try to bring your own beer into an establishment. Obviously, they want you to buy theirs at very marked up prices for the beer type of alcohol. So I was actually going to do a similar trick to this, and I brought a bottle of beer, and they said, "Hey, Gilligan, you can't do that." And I'm like, no, I didn't bring a bottle of beer. It was just an illusion, because I'm a magician. And they said, "No, we saw the bottle in the bag." And I said, "No, it's an illusion. There's nothing in the bag." And that's exactly the response that they gave me. They weren't very impressed. And they're like, "No, we saw the bottle in the bag." And I said, again, that was just an illusion, because I'm a magician. And like I said, I made the bottle disappear. And they're like, "No, and depending on the venue, like here, actually, I tried the blackberry raspberry stuff last time I was here, delicious. This time I got the Riesling. And like I said, if you want to go to a venue, you want to partake of what they sell as opposed to anything else." And so I produced that for the manager, and they said, wait a minute, what about the beer bottle that you had in the bag? And I said, "No, that was just an illusion." Because like I said, there was nothing there. And this Riesling is divine, just so you know. Now, I happen to be kind of new to the alcohol scene. I just never took the time to really experiment and to try to find different things that I like. So historically, I've always been a soda drinker. Particularly Red Bull has been my thing of late. And I don't know if any of you guys knew this or heard about it. Their slogan is, "Red Bull gives you wings." Well, somebody sued Red Bull for false advertising because they drank a Red Bull and they didn't get wings. True story. They won like $5 million. Right? So Red Bull's like, "Oh no, what are we going to do if other people sue us? We can't afford a class action lawsuit or anything." So they decided to appease all of their customers to make every can refillable one time. I don't know, have you guys heard this? No. Well, now, unfortunately for me, because of the metal that Red Bull cans are made out of, that thin tin metal, I love smashing mine because they make really cool, like, lightsaber sounds when you smash them. And so I had to call them up and ask if I could still refill my cans even though I smash them. And they said, "Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem." So I'll actually show you how this works. So hold on. Yeah, so make sure that you get the ones with the right barcodes, because every can is refillable for a limited time. So thank you. I'm sure that most of you know that magic is about illusion, right? An illusion. I love the psychology of magic. It's something that intrigues me. How the brain is tricked, how magicians can say things and do things to evoke that illusion. I actually have a few ropes here, and I was talking to someone else, and they were asking about how does a magician get into the brain and tweak it to make illusion happen. And so I thought I'd explain a little bit of it. But first I want to test you guys' mental awareness, I guess we'll call it. So everybody, if you would, say the word hop. Say the word shop. Say the word hop. And say the word shop. Now, what do you do when you come to a green light? Yes, you go at a green light. Yes, for those of you who did not get that. You see, that's how we overcome the intellectual part of the brain that knows what's reality and put you into what we call the illusionary part of the brain that can be fooled. So here I have 3 ropes. I have a short rope, I have a medium rope, and I have a long rope. We call that linguistic conditioning. When I say hop, shop, all that kind of stuff, I'm conditioning your brain to think a certain thing. And then when I reinforce that visual thing with the motions, then it aids in the illusion. So again, I used a little linguistic conditioning already on you when I explained that I have 3 ropes: the short rope, the medium rope, and the long rope. So in your mind, because you understand what those words mean, you see that I do in fact have a short rope, a medium rope, and a long rope. However, that is just an illusion, because the 3 ropes that I have are obviously all the same length. See, and so you're wondering, how does that happen? Again, linguistic influence is very, very powerful, because it's all about the subconscious. I've already implanted things in your brain, and your brain takes over. So if I have 3 ropes and I put one down, I don't have to mention how many ropes that I have. Your brain automatically does the math and the subtractions so that you know how many ropes that I have, because obviously I just have 1 rope left. You look a little confused. Well, see, like I said, linguistic conditioning is I set a certain thing in your mind so that if I just say the word 2, your brain automatically goes back to a second ago where you would have swore that I had 2 ropes. See, but I know that's because you're just counting the 4 ends and the 2 middles. But again, that's just an illusion, because clearly I only have 1 rope with 2 ends and 1 middle. So I draw your attention to the ends and I say, here, look at the ends. Oh, here, look at the middle. See, again, that linguistic conditioning reinforced by the motion. I say, look at the ends, and I point, and I look that way, and all of you look over there. Yeah, see how that works? I convince you that the ends are over here, but obviously the ends are over here. This is just an illusion, because there are no ends over here. I'm just saying, here, look at the ends. Just like I said, what do you do when you come to a green light? And I made that motion. I say, here, look at the ends. But clearly, the ends are not over here. The ends are on this side. And we know that because if the ends are over on this side, then obviously the middle has to be over here. Now, the illusion can become so strong that I can actually convince you that you can see the ends and the middle switch places. And you say, Gilligan, no, that can't happen. I'll say, watch. Again, are they really here or are they not? Well, that's up to you to decide. But if I make them come down to the end, then they come down to the bottom and the middle comes up to the top. I know it's confusing, and some of you are going, wait a minute, my brain hurts, because that's not possible. Well, see, it's not possible that I can't make the ends and the middle switch places. Obviously, I can do that. It's not possible with this particular rope, because this particular rope doesn't even have any ends on it, you see. From the beginning, it was an illusion, because this is just one big middle. But when I say a rope, you guys automatically think that a rope has 2 ends and a middle. So I take advantage of that subconscious thing, and we call these illusionary ends. If you go to the magic shop, you can buy illusionary ends. You buy a middle, and you take the illusionary ends, and you just stick them on the rope so that they look like a regular rope. But we know it's just illusionary ends. They're not really attached to the ends of the rope. And we know that because you can take them, and you can pull them off of this side, and you can put them on over here. You can do whatever you want with illusionary ends because they're not really attached. Right? That's how strong the illusion becomes, with the aid of a few little magical props, I guess. Right? And you would swear that they're on the rope. That's the thing. That's how strong the illusion is. But of course, I'm sure you're familiar with the term misdirection. If I can keep you looking down here at the ends, then you fail to look at the middle, because if you realize it's really about an illusionary middle, then you understand how the whole trick works, you see. Right? I can't let that happen. I got to convince you that the middle is really attached onto the rope so that I can continue with the illusion of the rope trick. Right? So, see, I love those faces. Those faces are what I see, and I know that I've got you where I want you mentally, because all I have to do is go back and say the word 2, for example, and immediately I know that your subconscious mind takes you back to where you thought that I had 2 ropes. Yeah, I mean, that's how strong the illusion is. So if I pick up a third rope, and I say, obviously, I have 3 ropes here that are clearly all the same length, I already know that subconsciously your mind has gone back to the beginning of the trick where you thought that I actually had a small rope and a medium rope and a long rope, and the rest is just illusion. So as I said, historically I have always been a soda drinker. I have a friend who, actually I drink a lot of soda. He actually drinks way more soda than I do, which I don't see how that's possible because I drink a lot of soda. So his doctor told him, you drink so much soda, you got to stop drinking soda. So he decided, every time he decides to drink a soda, he's not going to drink a soda, he's going to drink a beer instead. I don't know how wise that is, but he said, the doctor said I can't drink soda. So we were discussing this. He's a magician friend of mine. And we said, you know what? We could probably make a magic trick out of that somehow. So we brainstormed and we came up, there's a trick in the magic world called a transposition. What a transposition is you take one thing and you make it switch places with something else, right? The most difficult transpositions are to do it when you don't touch them. So we decided to take a soda can and to take a bottle and to try to transpose them. But you can't touch them, so we have these tubes to help with the transposition. So we take a tube and we cover the can. We take a tube and we cover the bottle. And we snap our fingers, and it's as easy as that when you're a talented magician. And they switch places. Oh, hold on. This is a new trick, so you guys are, all right. Let me try it. Oh, I forgot the magic words. A la Gilligan sandwich. That's what it is. So we take the tube and we cover the can. We take the other tube and we cover the bottle. We snap our fingers and we say, a la Gilligan sandwich. And they switch places. Thank you very much. No, save your applause. Because the hard part is actually getting them to switch back. A la Gilligan sandwich. And the can and the bottle go back to their original positions. Thank you very tough crowd. That took us like 10 minutes to figure out how to do. That was, you know what's really crazy though? Is that if I was really able to switch the bottle and the can and switch places, that would be kind of amazing. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But my friend said, the problem that I have is that what if I really don't want a beer? What if I really want a soda? And I said, well, then all you have to do is transpose them. Oh, well, like I said, he drinks a lot of pop. So if he was going to replace it with beer, he would need an extra bottle of beer. So I said, if you were going to switch places, then you really concentrate on it. You make sure that you snap your fingers, and the can would become the bottle, and the bottle would become the can, because the difficult part is actually to make them go back to their original positions. Now, some people say that you can use one tube to do it. I didn't believe him. I mean, I looked at YouTube and somebody did it. I don't know how he did it, because he actually took the bottle and he made the can become the bottle, and then he made the bottle become the can, and it was crazy. But I went to my friend and I said, hey, you can do that, because if you don't want to have a bottle of pop, then you can trade it for a bottle of beer and then save the pop for later, but don't let your doctor know about it. But of course, in order to do that, it's actually helpful if you have an extra bottle. Well, about this time, he was starting getting confused, because he didn't know whether his taste buds actually wanted a can of pop, or whether they wanted a bottle, or whether they wanted a bottle of beer, or whether they wanted a can. So he said, you know what, I'm just going to have an extra bottle on hand just in case I need to change my mind, because if I'm not in the mood for a can, then I'll take a bottle, and if I'm not in the mood for a bottle, then I'll take a can. But of course, if I decide to change my mind and have a bottle, it's always helpful if you pack an extra bottle. No, he said, what if I'm really, really thirsty and I disobey my doctor's orders and I just have 2 cans? And what am I going to do there? And I said, no, if you're not allowed to drink pop, then it's probably better if you just have 2 bottles. However, if you want to have 2 bottles, you can probably stick to a can and maybe you can have an extra bottle. Or maybe you can just take the can and turn that into a bottle and then turn the bottle into a can and then you can have an extra bottle. And then if you want to, you can just have it. You know what? You guys just enjoy your beverages tonight because now I'm confused. Thank you for the Cleveland Winery. Make sure you taste all that they have. And let's hear it for the great Jason Meyers. Thank you.
I have a lot of questions. One more time for Gilligan.